What's up, everybody? So I've been a Nobu main since the beginning, since For Honor first started, but I just thought, why don't I just do a Nobushi guide? So it's 2023, figure it's time for me to actually put into motion a Nobushi guide for you guys. So here it is. Let me know what you think, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts because this is my first guide of any kind that I've really ever done. You know, for Honor. For Honor. So I know how you guys can be. So just be honest. I appreciate your support. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Okay, so let's talk about Nobu. So Nobu has triple lights. So she can go light, light, light. We'll just show you that real fast. So you can go light, light, light. And you know that gets you 32 damage. And you're like, what? 32 damage? Yes, because you get 12 from the bleed. You get 12 from the attack. You get 12 from the first attack, 7 for the second attack. And then you have the bleed on top of that. So you end up with 32 damage. All right, the thing about those triple lights is that you have to nail them if you want to continue the chain. So if you go light and it's block, okay, that means it's over. If you go light, 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 the third light is confirmed. So if you get the second light and you choose to go for the third one is confirmed. You don't have to worry about that. So then you have you have your heavies. She can go heavy, heavy. So heavies, it doesn't matter if it's blocked. If it's blocked, you can keep going. Block, you can keep going. All right, heavies do 24 damage. So you got 24 and then the finisher for 29. If you go top, you got 24 and then the finisher for 29. So it's the same no matter which direction. It doesn't matter. And then you can also go light, heavy. And if you see that blue streak on top, the heavy finishers, just like the chain heavies, are undodgeable. So that's what that blue means. In case you don't know, it means it's undodgeable. With Cobra Strike, you can also continue your attack with a heavy. So you go Cobra Strike, heavy. Cobra Strike, heavy. Or you can dodge out of it. Cobra Strike, dodge. If you need to just continue to move, because if you're in 2v2s or maybe you have a 3v1 or 1v3 scenario and you got to keep moving, you can move. Hidden stance as well. Those are all a way to get past the recovery frames. Hidden stance takes a little longer, so you're better off just dodging out of the way. Because either way, if somebody has an unblockable they're trying to get you with, then they're going to catch you whether you do it a regular dodge or hidden stance. They're still going to get you. One thing I didn't tell you about the Cobra Strike, they have what you call a Cobra Strike mix-up. And the Cobra Strike mix-up is just where you go left bumper, guard break, and then you put them into the wall. Let me do that better this time. So left bumper, put them into the wall, follow it up with the Cobra Strike attack. And that's 40 stamina damage. So if you know somebody's getting low on stamina and somehow they're not going to counter guard break you, but if you catch them in the right moment, you can use it appropriately. I'll show you an out of stam just so you have an idea what I'm talking about. So if your opponent is out of stamina and you want to do that Cobra Strike mix up, I don't recommend it, because if you do it right away, that's what's going to happen. They're not going to fall to the ground, and you want them to fall to the ground so you can get your max punish. So you do that. You would be better off just going with the light and then a finisher heavy. She also has Viper's Retreat. For Viper's Retreat, all you do is press back on the left analog. I'm using a Xbox controller, so I'm letting you know that. So you go back on the left analog, and then you go your light attack. That's it. Back on light attack. That's Viper's Retreat. And it's a very important tool. You might think, what? She's going backwards. That's the whole point of Nobushi. She needs to keep her distance. This helps her keep her distance and still attack. Discourages your opponent. And as you see, that bleed just continues to ramp up. She has a side dodge attack. The side dodge attack is called Sidewinder. And you can, if it's blocked just like your normal heavies like this, you can continue to attack or move afterwards. See, look at that. You can still do whatever you want. Oh, it's blocked. I can still go hidden stance. If I want, we'll get into hidden stance. And you can follow up with a heavy finisher, but you cannot follow it up with a light. You can follow up with Viper's Retreat as a cancel. So if you go this, Viper's Retreat, that is a good cancel that you want to utilize because that's going to keep your opponent at bay. Keep them honest. Do not use this all the time. You need to use this move sparingly, and you need to almost disguise it. Sometimes I try to disguise it, and sometimes depending on who I'm going against, I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to throw it out here because they probably think I'm not going to put it out there. You know, it's about reading your opponent and trying to figure out, okay, if I put it out here, is it going to be safe? Because when they made the change to make all these heavy attacks end up being like light parry punishes, her Sidewinder became extremely dangerous to use. So you really don't want to use it or use it sparingly. But it does have some other benefits that we'll get into after we get through the basics. So you saw me doing the kick. So the kick, you can do it a couple different ways. That's not really the kick. That's really not her kick move. Her kick move is done out of hidden stance. Hidden stance. Now this is where we start getting into the nitty gritty of Nobu.
Nobody says that anymore.
And so hidden stance is where you're going to use what you're going to use to dodge many attacks, and you can actually attack off of it. But we're going to focus on the kick portion of it right now. When you go hidden stance, you can kick out of it. Hidden stance, kick. Very simple. Hidden stance, kick. It does wall splat. So you want to use that to advantage. If you see your opponent near a wall, you can also bait it. So if you go hidden stance, they think you're going to kick. You can go heavy. And that heavy is undodgeable. The heavy is undodgeable. However, if you go hidden stance and you go light, you can go double light. It serves as the second your chain light. So the third light will be free. You see what I'm saying here? 2, 3. That's what I'm talking about. Because normally, if you remember, we went 1, 2, 3. But when you're going hidden stance, this hidden stance counts as 1. And then 2, 3. That's why you're throwing a heavy finisher. Because this counts as 1, then the finisher. So it's a chain starter. Hidden stance is your chain starter. And you can also throw zone out of hidden stance. You can dodge out of hidden stance, which means you can Sidewinder out of hidden stance. You can feint your heavy out of hidden stance. You can do that. You can dodge forward, like I was saying, and go Cobra Strike. So you can do many things out of hidden stance. So use it wisely. And I'm going to show you in my scenarios portion, I'm going to show you the ways that I've used hidden stance in scenarios, in PvP, and I have some 1v1 against the AI just to show you how you can play with it and use it as well to your advantage. So one thing you can do is use hidden stance just like that. If you miss it, see, I missed the parry because I thought it was a light parry, but I was still able to use hidden stance. You got to do it quickly though, as you see, or you'll miss it. But you can use hidden stance as a way to get out of danger. I don't see a lot of Nobus use this. I usually just see Nobus use it just messing around, trying to create space. But you can do that. So make sure you're using all of Nobushi's tools, guys. Now Nobu does have some running attacks. That's the slithering thrust attack, so you can get some bleed. And you can also throw a heavy. And the heavy's gonna do more damage. So keep that in mind. So if you are running into a fight and you see somebody's not paying attention, you're better off doing the heavy. All right, now it's bleeding. 24. So if somebody's bleeding, now we know 24. 24 damage if somebody's bleeding. That's good to know. And if you go slithering thrust, you get the damage there as well. But those are her basic moves. So that way you know that. Now we're going to start getting into what you're really here for. Okay, so for any of the heroes that you choose, and for this one we're talking about Nobushi, you really want to pay attention to the hero specifics. Like what makes this hero unique, and what makes Nobu unique is the fact that the damage she can do with her bleed. So she has bleed, but also her hidden stance. So those are her two major hero specific items that she has, or things that she has. So she does have the Way of the Shark, doing extra damage. We already talked about that, hitting someone already affected by bleed. She has the hidden stance, the startup as a dodge property, cancel opener. I don't want to get into depth with these because I'm showing you this. And I feel like everybody learns differently. Sometimes people can read it and learn it. Sometimes people can hear it and learn it. And sometimes people need to see it and then they learn it. More of a tactile learner. Maybe you need hands-on. So I want to give you a combination of all of that. You're going to have to do the hands-on yourself, but this is just a little bit of it. But I covered the majority of this. The zone attack I didn't cover, but if you're playing For Honor, you know that you got to go light and heavy to throw out the zone at the same time. For Nobu, you can cancel that second one. So with her zone, you can go in here and you can cancel it by pressing B, so you can hard cancel it, or you can dodge out of it as well. So that's more of a soft cancel. So you can dodge, whoop, just to get right out of it. So I want to take you through some of the basic moves that you probably will use with Nobushi once you're out there. A lot of people do start with just spamming lights. I'm telling you, okay, that might work against some people, and it still works with some higher level players. I've seen it. Maybe it's because they're not expecting it. Maybe their reactions are off. Whatever, you can land it. So, but you have to be careful. You have to be careful because it can be blocked. If people are focused up, you're not really going to be able to do anything because Nobu doesn't have an opener. Regardless of what anybody says, she doesn't have an opener. She doesn't. She has this kick. That's not an opener. You have to go hidden stance to get to it. She can't do it from neutral. You have to go hidden stance and then you can do the kick. That's not an opener. But that's always bothered me. But you can still work around it, and you got to use your versatile retreats, and you got to get creative. So you can go backwards heavy and maybe try to bait your opponent. You want to get your opponent moving because usually when you start going against better players, they kind of wait you out. They literally can wait you out because you don't have an opener. So you have to be trying to do things to get them to open up. As you see here, I'll be throwing out things, different things to get them to open up. So what you really want to do with Nobu, don't just always go for the second light. Don't always go to the heavy. Use your kick because some people do expect the heavy and the light. So depending on what you've done with your opponent, use the kick. Boom. Get them in the corner. Feint. Especially if they like to, you'll figure out if they like to parry. And sometimes even go the same direction. Like when you feint, go the same direction because some people think, oh, he's going to change it. Oh, go right back to it. Go right back in that same direction. Especially pay attention to your opponent. If your opponent always has the guard over there and you feint it, go the other direction. Or you know they like to have it on the top. They always like to have it on the top. Then feint top, go to side. Or feint side and go to top. Or stay away from the top. Don't forget, you can throw out that zone. That zone can be feinted into kick, as you see. You can go into kick with the zone. So she has a lot of versatility to her. That's why she is a versatile player. You just have to make sure you're doing the right things with her to open your opponent up. But it's going to be a lot of baiting that's going on. So now let's get into, I'm just going to show you if you're a hyper aggressive or if you want to be aggressive as a Nobu. You know, I just to show you her attacks and how she can dodge out of things and get into other things. I just want to show you the explosion, which can be Nobu. All right, so let's just forward dodge. We're going to get our offense started with forward dodge into Cobra Strike. Forward dodge into Cobra Strike. Heavy, kick, heavy. Go into the Sidewinder. Throw a kick off of Sidewinder. Feint, zone, kick. Now we go into our double lights. You can continue to attack. If you nail that, go into guard break. Got your kick. Heavy, feint, guard break. Go into Viper's retreat. You can dodge out of that. Block. That's okay. You can dodge cancel off with Viper's retreat. You can dodge out of it. Because if you don't, you can't do anything else. But you can do this. Look. Jump right back into hidden stance. Boop. Boop. Hidden stance. Or dodge. Hit. Dodge. Dodge. Hidden stance. And off of this, you can go hidden stance too. So off a Sidewinder, you can go into hidden stance. You can delay this too. You see how quick Cobra Strike comes out? Dodge, Cobra Strike. See that? See how I delayed that? Dodge, Cobra Strike. So there's different ways you can make them think, oh, I'm going, nope. And then you can do it a little later. But you still got to be careful because if somebody's waiting on you, they're still going to parry that. They're still going to parry. But that's pretty much Nobu Unleashed. She can do all of those things. But you have to just use them appropriately based on the opponent you're going against. Okay, so let's talk punishments. So with punishes, we're just going to go with the guard break punish. So you can go top for 24. You can go side, either side for 24. So that's going to be your punish from guard break. You could do the Cobra Strike mix-up, but that's not really going to do you much unless you want to put your opponent out of stamina, because it does do 40 stamina. So that, I guess you could use that, but I don't normally use the Cobra Strike mix-up in that fashion. And really what you're really doing is trying to get that bleed going. I'd say the only reason you might want to do that or consider that, let's say if your opponent is bleeding and you have a shaman or maybe even a PK, but more likely a shaman. If your opponent's bleeding, you can then kick them, and that will give the shaman a chance to do her pounce. So if you're considering your teammates, that's something that you can think about. But that's the guard break punish. So if you're out of stam, there's a couple of punishes that you really want to focus on. Okay, so there's one when you have a wall next to you, and then there's one when you don't. Both of them you should get around 50 damage, or 51 and 52 damage respectively. So you can get your two heavies. They're exhausted. 1, 2. You see you got 29 for the finisher and 24 for the heavy. So there you go. That's 53 damage. That's going to be the most you can do. But if you want to sustain or continue pressure, you can also get them down. Oh, that's not going to work. Let me do this from this angle. You want to push them where you can actually kick them into the wall. There you go. Cobra Strike, kick into the wall, do this, and then you see you can continue your pressure. Because now they're going to be like, okay, are they going to kick me again into the wall? Or are they going to throw a heavy. So I'll show you that again. Cobra Strike. Kick into the wall. Then throw another heavy if they try to dodge, and then you get more damage. So you want to make sure you just throw them in front of you. Throw them in front of you and get your double heavy. Because if you throw them to the side, there's no guarantee you're going to get it. As you see. And I'm going to throw them to the right side. And then I'm going to throw them behind. So make sure you just throw them in front of you. Get your double heavy. Call it good. You throw them to the side. There you go. I threw a side heavy. Throw them to the side again. See, I don't hit. So make sure you throw them in front of you, and you'll get your double heavy. Now, looking at Nobushi's perks, what I like to run with her is Radiant Rebound, Remedy, and Feline Agility. Now, it's going to be really up to whatever your play style is and what you want to incorporate into the game mode that you're even using. Because while I use Radiant Rebound, Remedy, and Feline Agility, I do swap one of them out for Rise and Dawn. I try to get Rise and Dawn for when I'm playing Breach, and I'll have that in one of my inventory slots. But that's only for Breach. So the main ones that I use is Radiant Rebound, Remedy, and Feline Agility, because I want to get the health. So Remedy gives me at least a little bit of health, because Nobu's health pool is not the greatest. She can get to the zones faster whenever you're revived, and that's also at the beginning of the game. So you can get to the game, your movement speed is increased. And then for Feline Agility, every time you gain a renown level, then your movement speed is going to go up 4% and then 2% for each one after that. So those are all good benefits. You're talking about speed, you're talking about health, helps you get to the zones, helps you get to help your teammates faster, and anything that helps keep you alive, that's going to be good as well. And then, like I said, Rise and Dawn is what I use for Breach. That is what I'm only going to use for Breach. Now, Feats. For Feats, I use Body Count, Arrow Strike, Longbow, and Stalwart Banner. These are the ones that I mainly use, only because I think health is probably the biggest thing. And even if you can get a little bit of health to help you last a little longer, or if you go to a zone and you notice your teammate is getting ganked and you can drop that Stalwart Banner to help them out, that's better than going in there and dropping a fire trap, because they're going to end up burning as well. And then you got Arrow Storm, which if it's a covered area, especially when you're thinking about Temple Garden and you're on the points, there's very little, there's at least on one of the points you can't use Arrow Storm. So Stalwart Banner, Body Count, Longbow, Arrow Strike, those are the ones that I'm going to be using with Nobushi. And like I mentioned, I change out Speed Revive for Breach, because you want to get, especially if you're on offense, if you're attackers, you want to be able to revive your people and revive them as fast as possible. So you want to run Speed Revive for that. But that's pretty much the skinny for Nobushi's feats for me that I run. But just to show you them all, Iron Lung, Sprint out of stamina, I don't find that much use in that. And then Speed Revive, I mentioned that. Body Count, that's the one I use. Arrow Strike, Smoke Bomb, Executioner, if you want to get more health and executions, but you got to get executions to get it. So I'd rather use something that I can use, that I know I'm going to be able to get to and use, and that's Arrow Strike. Longbow, that's always good, especially if you want to help a teammate out. You see somebody that's low health, you can shoot it from a distance. You don't have to be locked on to use it. You have Sharpened Blade. With Nobu, she has no opener, so sometimes it can be more difficult to get to Sharpened Blade, and it's timed. You could run Second Wind. Second Wind's a good one. You can pop that and get a little health if you need it. So I would say Longbow or Second Wind you would go with there. And then you got Stalwart Banner or Fire Trap you can go with here, or even Arrow Storm, depending on it. But I prefer Stalwart Banner. So that's my take on Nobushi's feats and perks. Here's a scenario you can find yourself in as Nobu. I had a Yorm that was coming after me. I shouldn't have thrown out this attack, but I threw out Zone because Yorm was on that side and keep him from attacking me and interrupting me. And you notice the Kensei left. He peeled off. He left because he didn't want to feed revenge. This team knew what they were doing. I was able to attack here because that Yorm delayed the hammer strike, so I was able to get an attack. But you see, as Nobu, now I'm low. You already have lower HP than some heroes. But I tried to play it as smartly as I could. And you see, I'm using all her tools, the Cobra Strike, the hidden stance, trying to be patient. Here I caught the Valk trying to do a dodge attack at me, thinking I was running away, but I saw the Valk, and I pretty much baited her into that attack. Did the follow-up heavy, and I threw out the normal, the raw heavy, the starter heavy, because I was like, I need to take advantage of this. And then when you think it's all over, here I am trying to make sure we stay out of breaking. I see the shaman that's up there. The shaman throws out their tier 4 trying to get me, but I saw her, so I just wanted to let her know that I saw you, shaman. But we still got our butts whooped. Now here's one I did just in realistic duels. It was against a bot, but since it's in realistic duels, I figured I would put this one in here. So you see part of the mind games thing. Okay, I go hidden stance, I sit there, I don't do anything, throw out a Viper's retreat. See me feint out of hidden stance. Let's see his attack. I go hidden stance, I missed the kick there, so he properly punished me. Catch him on a guard break. He's doing his dodge, dragon dodge. But see, there's throwing out the zone. You can use the zone and then kick out of the zone. And see how quick you can use those dodges for the cancel recoveries? Use Nobushi to your advantage, people. And I hope a few of you, after watching this Nobushi guide and seeing these scenarios, I hope a few of you actually become Nobushi mains, or maybe try it if you haven't. Or maybe try something out that maybe you didn't know. But either way, let me know in the comment section, what did you think of this guide? Did it help? Did it hurt? Did it provide anything that you could use when you're out there playing? Let me know. I would like the feedback, and I appreciate you guys for watching and supporting, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.